Hi guys! So today I'm going to be doing a bit of a rambling video about my Game Boy here and some of the games that I have for it. As you can see, when I was younger I took the liberty of bedazzling it or putting some rhinestones on it. Throughout the ages I managed to lose a rhinestone. It's even got rhinestones on the triggers here, which was an interesting decision on younger me's part, but I do remember the day I got this. My grandma took me to Toys R Us back when that was still around to pick out a Game Boy Advance system and a game to go with it. And at that time I picked the black Game Boy Advance, and I don't have it right here because a friend's using it, but I picked up Pokemon FireRed as my first game to play on this, and it still works. Let me turn the volume down so it doesn't explode, but bad boy still works, still lacks the backlight that the SP had, but at the time when I was a kid I kind of got used to like this would come with me on every trip, be it 15-minute ride to the grocery store or road trip. My parents at the time didn't really believe or enjoy flying, so whenever we'd go to like Florida or Colorado or something, we'd be road tripping. So this bad boy would be with me. It would have I think this bad boy might have been the car adapter. This is granted an off-brand piece of plastic here, and I would have a stack of batteries with me in the car adapter, so if we were on a million-hour ride, I'd have this bad boy with me. And nighttime, I did have the little lamp attachment you'd plug in up here, or I'd be kind of fishing for headlights and street lamps. I think that's why I have mediocre vision now, because squinting at the screen as a kid. But I never ended up getting the SP. I hung out with this bad boy for a long time until I ended up getting the DS, and I still do love this little guy. I have mostly I use it if I'm playing a Pokemon game. Like you can see, I've got Emerald hanging out here in the cartridge. I use it if I need to trade between games so that I can still use the fun little adapter that they had back in the day. This always looked like Venusaur's head to me for some reason, and I have no idea why. But I keep it because it's my original Game Boy, and because I need to trade or something, I can use this adapter. Right now, if I play Pokemon, I'm playing on my DS because it has a backlight and it's nice and clear. And it has, I love that the DS's were backwards compatible, where you could plug a Game Boy in, or if you were playing one of the DS Pokemon games, you could transfer directly from the Game Boy game over to the DS game. So, but yeah, this is a well-loved little handheld for me. The game that I surprisingly associate most with this, even though it wasn't my first game, and I don't think it's probably a very remarkable game, is the Scorpion King game that they had for the Game Boy at the time. For some reason, when I was a kid, I was really kind of obsessed with the Mummy movies and the Scorpion King, with like Dwayne The Rock Johnson in it, and just how he tied into the Mummy universe back then. And they still do make games based off of movies and things, but back in the day, they really made games based on movies to varying degrees of success, and I made a Scorpion King game, and it was a game that featured like no save points. I think it might have had a password system, where you could like get to the beginning of the level if you remembered a password. But I put so many hours into that bad boy. I was just obsessed with it. I don't have the game anymore, but I think I might pick it up because it's probably like $2 nowadays. If anyone even has a copy laying around, I might try to order one off of eBay just to beat the game and get some closure now that I'm older. But I played a lot of that on this for some reason. I had the original Spyro Gameboy games. I played a lot of Spyro on this. I used to, oddly enough, I would grab this when I was living at my childhood home, and I would grab a stack of games, and I would squeeze behind the couch, and I would sit there and play games, like, all day long. I think there was a Harvest Moon game that I used to like playing on this. I think it was like More Friends in Mineral Town, I think, were on this. Forgive me if I'm forgetting that they might have been on the DS instead, but I used to play a lot of that, a lot of Spyro. I think I had some of the Harry Potter Game Boy games. I know I had the Prisoner of Azkaban one for really no apparent reason. But I had really a kind of mixed collection for this, and I still keep this little guy around, all bedazzled. I think at one point I had bedazzle on the A and B buttons, but like this one here, I think the wear and tear eventually just kind of peeled them off. I do have the original back on here, some generic batteries, because while I do have these fun little adapter pieces, this one was, I remember, the wall adapter, this car adapter. I don't have the cord for this anymore, at least not here. It might be back at my mom's house, but I still hang on to these kind of relics, and if I ever wanted to go batteryless and really kind of take a blast from the past trip with playing this, I could do that. So some of the games that I still have, I ended up, when I was probably like 14 or 15, I ended up going through a phase where I was like, you know what, I'm fully grown now, and I don't need video games, and I ended up sillily selling my Super Nintendo system, which was absolutely silly to do. I ended up selling my Sega Game Gear system, and I ended up selling a ton of my Game Boy games. I'm glad that I managed to somehow not sell my Game Boy itself, and I managed to not sell my DS. But yeah, for some reason I got it in my head that having like $100 in store credit was better than having all these classic childhood games. But so the folks that made the cut, or that I ended up rebuying, I have Pokemon Leaf Green. I did a gameplay video with this pretty recently. I've been working my way through this. It's been, honestly, I'm amazed at how much I forgot. Like, I'm used to playing the FireRed version. I ended up buying this a couple months ago from a friend who was downsizing their collection, and I forgot pretty much everything, like, in terms of going to the Orange Islands or the islands and things like that. I forgot where you get Articuno and Moltres. I do remember Zapdos at the power plant. So, it's been a pretty nice journey of discovery. I think what I'm gonna do, now that I've finally got to the section where I'm at the Safari Zone, think I'm gonna pick up some Pokemon that I never carry to the Elite Four with me. Like right now I have my generic team with like a Nidoking, Charmeleon, Gyarados, Jolteon, and Pidgeotto right now. And I've been kind of swapping out Pokemon. Oh, and I have a Dragonair. And that's kind of my generic team, my trusty dusty team. And I think what I'm gonna do is like pretty much put everybody in the PC and just like see how far I can get with like Executor and Dodrio and just randoms that I've never used all the way to the end game and just see how it works out. I might get my butt kicked, but I think it would be fun. Let's see. As you saw, I do have Emerald in here. Let me take this off so it's easier to get to the game. I do have Emerald. This is really a classic. This is my original copy of Emerald that I got when it came out as a kid. I ended up, I didn't end up playing Ruby or Sapphire as a kid. I remember, for some reason I was like, oh, I'll wait, and then I used to get Disney magazine as a kid. It's like this little teeny tiny like magazine thing that had like comics and told you the shows that were coming up, and they had a lot of ads that were directed at kids. I remember seeing the ad for Pokemon Emerald, and I saw the outfits that the trainers got to wear and how sporty they looked, and I was like, I need to get that game. So I think probably for my birthday or Christmas or something, I ended up getting this. But I just remember back in the day when they used to put like magazine advertisements for this to attract kids, or like the Toys R Us magazine, just seeing this and seeing the outfits and things and be like, oh my goodness, I need to go to that region. The starters look cool, outfits look cool. I gotta have it. So played this. Another two games that I ended up buying from my friend that was kind of downsizing their collection. They had a second copy of Sapphire and Ruby version, and these I have never played. I do know that there are some story differences between these and Emerald, and certainly you encounter each team versus both teams, and you're limited in terms of the legendaries, I believe. But I never played these since I waited for Emerald, and I never ended up kind of investing in these to even out the collection. At some point I am going to have to play through these, and I might do that as like kind of a playthrough on the channel. I do tend to kind of self-narrate sometimes when I'm playing, so if you guys think that would be kind of relaxing to play through one of these games together, or at least some of one, let me know. It would be kind of a new experience for me since I haven't played these, so I'm sure there's some lore stuff that I'm missing since I've only played Emerald. But I just wanted them kind of for my collection, since my friend was selling a bunch of old Pokemon games, and I do like playing through these old games with friends. Like I'll be like, here, take one of the copies that you want, I'll take the other version, let's play through it, and like either like Skype and play through it, or like nowadays we have to, if we do that, it's kind of via like messaging how it's going, or Skyping, but or if they come over or something, we can play and just be like travel through together. I know there's a I know we could go online to, I think there's a game, PokeMMO, or you can just be online and on the computer and do it, but it doesn't have quite the same retro feel to me. I have played that a little bit, and they connect a lot of the regions, and people will trade you Pokemon for gold and things like that, so you can do some game-breaking stuff, so it's not quite the same feel. Let's see who else made the cut. I have Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. And this bad boy I've put a ton of hours into. This was one of my favorite games as a kid. It somehow merited not making, well, it stayed home while the other games were sold, so it's a pretty big deal. I haven't played this game in forever. I think I might return back to this while I wait to get the new Pokemon DX. I think it's called, the new one that's on the Switch, which is basically this and Blue Rescue Team combined. It's just a really cozy game. It doesn't give me as far as like a Harvest Moon vibe or like a Stardew Valley vibe in terms of coziness, but it's pretty close. I just really like the kind of low-key nature of just going on missions. You're just kind of chilling out and exploring dungeons with your team. Certainly the boss battles can get pretty intense. As a kid, I wasn't so strategic about grinding, so I definitely got my butt kicked plenty of times and got plenty of like, you've been kicked out of the dungeon and you're back home resting off the knockout that you just had. So I think I'd be in a better position going back to it now because I could be more strategic about it, but definitely a lot of good memories. I think Kecleon's shop was in this, and I do think I remember the sort of PTSD that comes from when you accidentally don't pay for something. It's as simple as walking on, like, I believe in this game, it might have been exclusive to the DS games, but I think it's in this game as well. Kecleon will have a random shop that appears in some of the bigger dungeons, and all his stuff is just on the floor, so if you step on it and pick it up, you're expected to go up to Kecleon and pay for it. But as a kid, I probably like hit the A button through the instructions on how the shop worked, so I was like, oh, I picked this up, I bet when I leave the shop it'll not let me leave and ask me to pay. No, it'll let you leave. Kecleon will just kick your butt. He's brutal. Because when I left and all of a sudden the boss music queued up, I was like, oh, well, I guess I can knock out Kecleon. You can't easily knock out Kecleon. I'm not sure if it's possible. I'll have to look it up. But, yeah. Really cute game. I definitely was one of those folks that manipulated, like, nowadays you can look up a guide for this. Back in the day, you would just keep, refreshing the personality quiz at the start of the game. In order to determine what Pokemon you are in this game, as you play a Pokemon yourself and kind of break the fourth wall by saying that I'm a human that was born that woke up in a Pokemon body. It gives you a little personality quiz with a bunch of kind of, not random questions, but a lot of like, what would you do in this situation? Like, if you saw another kid being bullied, what would your course of action be? Would it be to punch the bully in the face, to run away, or to like go get a teacher? Or like fourth option, confront the bully peacefully. And you answer the questions, and then it says like thinking, you sound like you'd be like a Charmander or a Squirtle or a Chikorita. I ended up getting Chikorita like 9 out of 10 times. And as a kid, I was fine with that. I was like, sure, like, cool beans. And I'm not sure who I'd want nowadays. I think you can have Riolu as a starter, and I think I'd want to pick that nowadays. But I remember, I think it would occasionally assign me to someone who wasn't Chikorita, or that wasn't someone I liked, so I would just, start the game again and take the quiz again and try to manipulate it with different answers. So, but very cozy game. Like, at one point I also had Explorers of Sky. Both games I ended up crying at different parts of the game because there's some emotional stuff going on here. So, very cute game. It'll definitely take up a bunch of hours if you're looking for something lengthy and that has good replay value. But really nice game. Here is a game that I picked up with no knowledge of how Pokemon Color worked. Or not Color, how Game Boy Color worked. As a kid, I just assumed Game Boy Color games could be played in the Game Boy for no reason. I think this can technically fit. Let me check this out because I have played this, just not, yeah, still fits. You can still play this on the Game Boy Advance. I was just shocked because a friend said that they were selling a Harvest Moon game. And I really liked Harvest Moon when I was younger. Still do like it. I just haven't really bought any of the newer games. And they were like, oh, I'm going to sell a Harvest Moon. I've got kick runs for the Game Boy. And I was like, oh, sweet. I've got a Game Boy Advance. So let me buy it off you. And they're like, it's a Game Boy Color game. And I was like, yeah, awesome. I have a Game Boy Advance. And then I got this hunk of plastic and was like, what do I do with that? But fortunately for my silly self, it still does play. I had gotten used to, let's see, this is Harvest Moon 3 for Game Boy Color. I'd gotten used to the Game Boy Advance Harvest Moon. I think it was More Friends of Mineral Town. And that's put together in a way that I found less complicated. I'm not sure if one is more difficult than the other, but I struggled to get anywhere in this game. Maybe if I went back to it today, it would be more, I'd be able to comprehend it better, but I only ended up putting maybe like 5 hours into this game because I just couldn't figure out what was going on. There was like so many places to unlock to travel to. There was just so much stuff going on, and I think I would have benefited from having a Game Boy Color and having it displayed as it was supposed to. But this would be kind of a fun game to go back to and just like, you can't really beat Harvest Moon, but kind of get established in now that I'm older and can look up some guides. So, but I've been hanging on to this. It's the only Game Boy Color game I have, because I kind of learned my lesson when getting this one, that it is recommended to have a Game Boy Color. And here's a newer purchase. It's still in its little protective case. I picked this one up when I was traveling for a convention. One thing that I always like to do, and that me and my friends like to do when we go to conventions, is check out the retro video game stores in the area so that we can see what's around and try to pick up some retro games. If there's a retro game booth at a convention, I always stop by because I'm always on the hunt for Fire Emblem games, and only kind of a handful of them from like the Game Boy and back era made it to the US. There's a lot of Japan exclusives or ones that were just like very small batch made it over here. So got Fire Emblem, Game Boy Advance. I just wanted to add it to the collection and try to play through it at some point. Right now I'm still working on 3 Houses on the Switch, working my way through the 4th DLC route, but I'm hoping that once I finish the 4th route, because that'll be my final route playthrough, that I'll have some time to go back to some of the older games, because I want to know who more of the Cypher characters are for the Cypher cards, instead of ending up with anyone who's older than Awakening kind of stuttering over. I'd like to have a better understanding of the characters and understanding of why people love certain characters so much, especially in the Fire Emblem Heroes community. So, and to be able to get excited about some of the older characters that aren't just the DS generation forward. So, that's this bad boy. And that's really the, I keep them all in one of these tins. It's a Pokemon X and Y tin here. So it's a pretty small little Game Boy collection. I'm always tempted. I'm fortunate in that the area I live in has a really good retro video game store that they accept a lot of like trade-ins and stuff. They get a lot of like new used games all the time, so their Game Boy stock is pretty good. So I'm tempted to go and rebuy Spyro Game Boy games, even though I have the Spyro PS4 version. I'm tempted to rebuy the Scorpion King game maybe some of the Harry Potter games. At one point I had, there's a game that was like a 3-in-1, I think it was, had Echo the Dolphin, which I couldn't figure out for the life of me, had a Sonic game, had some other game on it, which was interesting. I'm tempted to go buy just some of the random games that I had when I was a kid, because I have a kind of sadly small collection nowadays, since I sold a lot when I was a kid, but yeah, that's my little collection, my little bedazzled Game Boy. Let me know if you folks have ever done anything kind of funny to your systems, either creative in terms of like maybe put some decals or like a wrapping or something on it, or if you've done something kind of unique, like uniquely silly, like the gemstones and stuff. I'm always interested to see what people have kind of done as a kid to their systems and how they've customized them before. Nowadays you can get like the stickers and the wraps and stuff for them, or you can just buy like the Animal Crossing version of the Switch or the Fire Emblem version of the Switch. So, but yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I hope that everyone is currently staying safe during this time, and that you folks have a great rest of your day or night. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.